Hey guys, Ronnie Wuest, Delaware Combat Sports. My youngest son, Tony Wuest, and Lewis King. We were at competition training today here at Delaware Combat Sports. We were talking a little bit about why wrestlers are difficult to grapple with in jiu-jitsu. Even though you may be a higher ranked jiu-jitsu competitor, younger or lower ranked wrestlers are still difficult to grapple with. One of the techniques we were talking about today was Oma Plata. Now, Oma Plata is a staple jiu-jitsu submission, but you don't see it as often as you see arm bars and triangles and cross chokes and things, because in my opinion, it's just not as high a success rate of finish. You don't see them that often. They turn into a scramble sometimes. You just don't see them that often because they're just too unpredictable. Wrestlers defend them well, but wrestlers also have an interesting twist on those. I want to show you one today, because a lot of people wonder why, or how wrestling and jiu-jitsu are very similar but yet different. I'm going to show you a technique that my youngest son Tony does in high school wrestling all the time, and how it translates into a really cool sweep in jiu-jitsu. It's called a funk technique in wrestling. Can I stand up? In high school wrestling, or folk style wrestling, these two guys are wrestling, and Lewis shoots in with like a head on the outside single, catches Tony off guard and falls. Tony falls, he underhooks the leg, and works his way back up to a scramble to prevent the takedown. Okay? One more time, do it again. This time just falls to the bottom of the stuff. So Lewis shoots, he catches Tony off guard. Tony falls, he stops right there. He grabs the leg, heel, could go underneath depending on how deep Lewis shot. He rolls over to his back, scrambles, gets up, and from here he would work to defend the takedown, what have you. Okay? In jiu-jitsu, one of the sweeps that I like to use a lot, I've been using it for years, and it catches a lot of jiu-jitsu players off guard who don't have a wrestling background. It's and some of you guys have seen it. I just want to show you the correlation between wrestling and jiu-jitsu. So Tony's in bottom closed guard. This time, we were talking about the Oma Plata. So Tony wants to threaten with the Oma Plata, so he goes ahead and threatens with it. Okay, keep going. Okay, stop right there. Now, right here, a lot of times it turns into a scramble. If this guy can grab his belt or his lapel, if he can kind of base out and sit, it turns into a scramble for this guy over here. But here's where the funk technique comes in from the wrestling perspective. Tony underhooks the heel, pulls him over, rolls, back steps right over to a mounted triangle. Okay, so do it again. Now it's difficult to do with slow motion. Much faster it happens, smoother. So he threads the Oma Plata, he underhooks, now right there, stop. Depending on the size of this guy or how he rolls, you can grab the heel, like the funk variation, or he can actually come underneath, come inside, come underneath here, depending on the length of the guy's legs. He rolls them, back steps right over. Now from here, depending on the bottom guy's arm, you either go to mounted triangle or just the mount position. But anyway, I just want to show you the correlation between wrestling and jiu-jitsu. Good, have a seat, guys. So, that's why a lot of jiu-jitsu players say, hey, these wrestlers are difficult to do anything with because they just kind of have this natural intuition. You got to remember, jiu-jitsu, jiu-jitsu practitioners did not invent the art of grappling. Grappling's been around for forever, So really, really good wrestlers have this innate ability to defend or to counter many jiu-jitsu techniques. So that's why I always suggest to my jiu-jitsu students that they come to wrestling practice, whether it's the adults, whether it's the kids. Wrestling adds that foundation, that base, that just inherent knowledge of where to be and where not to be in the grappling round. But anyways, I want to show you the variation of the funk variation versus the Oma Plata sweep in jiu-jitsu. Cool? Again, Ronnie Wuest, Delaware Combat Sports, my son Tony Wuest, and Lewis King. Peace.